welcome back to the Human Instrumentality Podcast. We're returning this week with episode 4.
We're at that many already.
It's hard to believe. It's been 4 weeks of some experts dishing out some expert opinions.
That's a month.
Yeah, that's a whole month. I'm sure that a whole lot of people are just smarter now because of it.
Well, yeah, our viewer base of maybe 4 or 5, they're the upper echelon of knowledge.
Yeah, they started as, regular citizens, but now they're super geniuses.
Patricians.
Anyway, as always, I am your host, HunterJawa, and I'm joined by my good friend, VanillaFish.
A.K.A. the Game Master.
This week I think we're going to do another blend of anime and game discussion, so to start it off, we'll just go right into games we've been gaming. And this week, I've been playing a whole lot more of Sleeping Dogs.
Sleepy Dogs.
Yeah, Sleepy Dogs. Just to start, I have to say, I commend them for, thus far, not using the line, "Let sleeping dogs lie," anywhere in the game so far.
They have not said that?
Nope. So thumbs up on that one.
I find that very hard to believe.
You see that title and you expect, in the first hour, somebody to say that and, wink at you or something. But no, not so far.
That's good.
Maybe
Have there been any, legitimate, sleeping dogs? Like canines asleep?
There's no animals at all, actually.
Both will make their way into the game before it's over. Guaranteed.
Yeah, they'll introduce a new dog character, because that's the way you ratchet up the emotions in video games.
Well, hey, if Call of Duty's doing it.
That's right.
Fable did it.
They learned from the best.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I had started playing it, and I was enjoying it more than a Grand Theft Auto type game, just, for a couple of reasons. Mostly because of the improved combat, which is this Arkham Asylum type combat. And since playing it more, you actually unlock a lot more moves as you go through the game, and it's totally brutal and intense now. But I'm still loving that. They introduced a lot more gameplay. I'm sorry, not gameplay. Gunplay.
Yeah.
As you get past the halfway point in the game, and the gunplay is kind of lame.
Yeah, I feel like the melee combat in that is so good. Why would you even want to use a gun?
There's a basic cover system that works fine, and you have max gain powers that have no recharge, so you can just jump into slow motion basically whenever you want. So there's no challenge to the gunplay, and it's kind of just basic point and shoot and behind cover. So
yeah.
There's not too much of it, and you still do your share of melee combat, but I kind of wish that there was less shooting. And finally, just want to talk about the story a little more, because I'm coming up on the end of it, but I'm actually really impressed by the story in this game.
Really?
And, yeah, it's totally a hard-boiled undercover cop.
Yeah, double agent type deal.
But the main character is a totally cool guy, and you, as the player, you can get behind both sides of the conflict. You want to help him go undercover and bring these guys to justice, but he starts to get too close to all the people in the gang, and kind of, as the player, don't want to betray them either.
Yeah.
And at this point in the story, it's coming towards the end, and I actually don't really know where he's leaning towards in terms of if he's going to side with the law or side with his gang buddies. So it's an interesting conflict. And
now tell me, how are the karaoke side?
Karaoke is awesome. They only make you do it, I think they make you do it twice. And they have the weirdest selection of songs. The game takes place in Hong Kong, but all the songs are Hit Me With Your Best Shot and Take On Me, which is my favorite.
Covers or the actual song?
The actual voice actor for Wei, the main character, sang all the songs. So if you're doing well, you hear him doing his best to sing Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty boring minigame, but it's kind of funny. And there's one really great favor quest where somebody asks you to fail on purpose to prove that men are not meant to sing.
Hey, if you're gonna put in a minigame like that, make it something fun. Do something with it,
Yeah, that's a pretty minor part, but yeah, I really enjoy all the small touches like that. And there's actually a lot of races I've been doing recently too that are pretty fun. I like the way that the driving in the game feels now that I bought the most expensive car and I can just rip.
Okay. Do you still like during races and stuff? Do the action hijack and stuff like that?
No, you can't do anything like hijacking stuff in races. It's just straight up driving. But
Can you like bust out the car door, start hitting other cars? Or?
No, but there's a lot of like car combat sections too, where you're in charge of driving and shooting, and you have to bust some heads with the door, all the good stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a really fun game overall, and I wouldn't say it's like as crazy as like something like Saints Row 3, but it has like a really good sense of humor, and it's not afraid to like act all silly just to have a fun time.
Yeah, it seems like it's like in the middle ground between Saints Row and Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's where I would put it. It's not like I don't know, superheroes or whatever Saints Row has, but there's a lot of craziness in it that's really fun to watch.
No dubstep gun though, right?
No dubstep gun. But there's a dubstep radio channel you can listen to. So.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, that's I'm looking forward to finishing the game this week, and it's probably one of my favorite open world games this generation, I think. But,
that's pretty good.
I haven't played Saints Row 3 very much yet, so I think I'm gonna try and get that sometime and I'll compare them. But until then, yeah, that's my thoughts on Sleeping Dogs.
Good to hear.
You haven't been playing much this week?
Not really. I've been doing a lot of other things. I recently, though, just played a little bit more NHL 13. Not much to say about that, except I sling him pretty mean pass.
Alright, move on to some gaming news stuff. First piece this week is, I think it was last week we discussed the Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about all the rumors and misunderstandings about the used game policy, which has been a major controversy.
Yeah.
So yesterday, an official statement was put out that clarifies how everything works, and it's not quite as bad as everyone was making it out to be with the rumors and stuff, but it is still DRM, and there is still limitations on used games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read through the bullet points right here real quick, and then we can talk about them. First of all, you have to connect to the internet once every 24 hours, so in essence, always online DRM is in place there. In terms of like being able to use games across accounts, you can have 10 people within your family use games that are tied to your account. But if you're trying to give a game to a friend, it needs to be somebody who's on your Xbox Live friends list and has been for a month, and you can only give a game to a friend one time. So that's just to borrow a game. So basically, if you want to lend a friend a game, that's the only person you're ever going to lend that game to, and it has to be somebody on your friends list.
Oh, so it's not like you can lend it to one person only?
Yeah, after that you can.
And that one person can play it as many times as they want, or they can only play it once?
They can play it as many times as they want.
But you can only lend it to one person?
Right, and they have to be on your friends list.
Okay.
So, like I was saying, it's not as bad as, like, completely locking out that function and, getting rid of used games, but I still think it's, like...
Yeah, it's still kind of shitty.
It's overly complicated, and I don't really understand why it has to be that way. It just, I don't know, it seems dumb to me.
And the used game thing is thrown back at developers, right?
Yeah, I think what happened was publishers actually are going to be in charge of whether or not games will be allowed to be sold used. But nobody has come out and said whether or not they're going to go one way or the other on it. So I guess we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and publishers seem to be the biggest proponents of, like, the backlash for used games.
Yeah, so. That's true. Because they don't make a lot of money when GameStop sells a used game. I think they'd like to. But I've been hearing that Microsoft and possibly other publishers are looking into, having a one-way deal with GameStop in particular, where GameStop has basically a monopoly on used games that are allowed by everybody. But other retailers like GameFly or, independent retailers would be kind of shit out of luck and unable to sell used games at all.
Wouldn't that entirely tank GameFly?
Yeah, it would. Well, they do. I think they do sell new games now, but yeah, their entire like Netflix type service of used games would no longer be applicable.
Yeah.
And that sounds shitty too. I really hope that they don't give GameStop, his big monopoly on things just because they're the biggest, so they want to appease them.
Yeah. All this scene, it's a big shame, I think.
Yeah. And with E3 coming up, I'm kind of hoping that we hear more about it and that we hear from Sony what their position will be. And hopefully they do the right thing.
Yeah, Sony's balls in their court right now.
I was just talking about this with someone the other day, and they were asking, like, with all this controversy of the Xbox One, like, wouldn't it be great if it, like, tanked or, totally loss of PS4 this holiday? And as it is, I don't really think that'll happen because there's a decent number of people who just want to jump up from their 360 to an Xbox One, or all their friends are going to be getting it.
Yeah.
But I was saying that, like, this E3 represents, like, a huge opportunity for Sony to grab, like, a lot of those people. Like,
yeah, definitely.
If they, like, come out swinging and totally just try to crush Microsoft and say, like, we're the good guys, if you want to play games, come to us, they'll, like, frame the conversation from now until the holiday with, the tone of, like, Microsoft sucks and Sony's where the games are at. And I think if you bring over, like, all the core gamers, a lot of people are going to, take notice. People will say, oh, my friends are getting a PS4 now, maybe I'll get a PS4 so I can play COD with them on there, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like they almost, like, it'd be dumb if they didn't do that, and I really think that's going to be their plan now, because they have such a big opportunity to just, like, take away, like, a large part of the market, so I feel like they're probably going to capitalize on it.
And right now, I feel confident they'll give a good show, but if both Microsoft and Sony come out and just show games and give a boring little presentation and say, buy our console next fall, it'll just stay how it is. I think Sony really needs to, like, reach out and grab it, the opportunity they have, and, like, really,
definitely.
Really, go for it. So hopefully they go for that. This week, Konami held a pre-E3 event, and there wasn't too much going on, but there was a few interesting things that they showed. I think the biggest story was David Hayter is out as Solid Snake, and the new voice actor is going to be Kiefer Sutherland. Star of 24.
I was a little surprised, but it does make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I don't really know too much about him because I've never watched 24. At first I kind of scoffed at the decision, but I realized that I'd never really been too familiar with his performances at all, or even Metal Gear Solid that much. So, I mean, you played a lot of the Metal Gear Solid games, right? Or a couple?
Yeah, I did.
So, what are your feelings on David Hayter not voicing Snake anymore?
I like David Hayter's Snake, but I guess you get so used to him that a lot of people really, like, are attached to him, but honestly, I don't think his performance has ever been, like, outstanding. Like, he's just always kind of been Snake. Like, Snake's never stuck out to me as, like, wow, the way he did Snake was fantastic. And I'm also not really, like, bugged on it because it makes sense to me because, what they were showing with Metal Gear Solid 5 is how they're switching from, like, what all the other Metal Gear Solid games were, -4, like the low res, stuff like that, and they're doing actual mocap for Snake's character, and Hayter is a fine voice actor, but he's not an actor.
Yeah, that is true.
That's probably the biggest reason why they had to make the switch to someone who knew how to act, because it's not just going to be his voice, it's going to be, like, his likeness too.
I think
so it makes sense.
He also mentioned that Sutherland's age is closer to where the character is now. I'm not really sure how important that is, but it sounds like he was, like, really trying to get an accurate and specific performance for this game based on where Snake's character is going to be.
Yeah.
So, I'm not an expert on voice acting, but I would say for now I trust where he's going with it, and it seems like it's for the right reasons and not just, shake things up and get news attention.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And as a fan of the series, I'm not really peeved at all.
So, did you have any thoughts on Metal Gear Solid 5 in general? Or, like, excited for it, or?
I played every Metal Gear Solid game except 4. So, I could be missing a lot here, but, Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. I thought the whole build up with it being two different games was really like neat and stuff. But deep down, I would rather have a game that's like, can we just like put Snake to bed and maybe like, because there's a lot of interesting like other characters in the series too, and I would have liked something like that, or maybe not the same thing as like a Peace Walker, but another game like that. I'm excited, but I would have liked something else, I guess.
Yeah, and this is another prequel, right? It doesn't take place after Metal Gear Solid 4.
I'm not sure. I think it does.
I'm not sure either, but it seems to me when I was watching the trailer for 5 that it was trying to be really different from what Metal Gear Solid had become, which was like a lot of mechs and cyborg ninjas and this and that. And this one was kind of a more traditional war-looking thing.
I think you're right. Because it is Big Boss, so I guess it is a prequel.
And just when I was watching it, it seems to me like Kojima really should just go off and make something else. Like, he really wanted to distance himself from a lot of the bullshit I think that Metal Gear Solid had gotten buried under.
Yeah.
This is still Metal Gear Solid. Like, it looks so creative. I'd like to see him like create something brand new.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to do something else, but that won't make as much money. So.
Well, he is saying that this will be his last game. I know he says that on every Metal Gear Solid, but
yeah, I don't know about that, but
maybe this time will be true.
I like his game, so I'll play it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it turns out. The only other thing really interesting, I guess, that they showed was Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. I didn't play the first one, although when they first revealed the first one, I thought it was a pretty cool looking game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of interested in playing it, but ultimately it reviewed pretty poorly, and people just said it was a pretty bad God of War clone, so I kind of held off. And the marketing for this one similarly looks really cool, but I think I'll hold off and see if they can really make a better game.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a direct sequel, so I'd have to play the first one, I guess. And I heard the first one is long too.
Yeah, it's apparently pretty long. I think the most interesting thing about it was seeing like Dracula being able to explore like this modern New York City looking type setting. When the first one was a weird like high fantasy setting.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
So that was the thing that caught my attention the most, and maybe that'll turn out to be pretty cool. They're saying it is an open world. But yeah, and there was the Mega 64 video at the end, which was killer.
You're killer. Good one.
Alright. Do you have anything else from the Konami that I'm forgetting? Or?
I thought it was not really a good... Oh, it was fine, I guess, but are they always that short, those Konami ones?
I think
always half an hour?
I think this is only the second time they've done it, right? But the last one was around the same line.
I guess so, yeah. And I couldn't care less about the Pro Evolution Soccer, and they like talked about like apps for a while too. So, it was whatever, I guess.
It's nowhere near the impossible heights of the, what year was it, 2011 or 10 Konami press conference? A really weird one. But,
yeah.
But I guess this is an easier way to make sure everything gets done right and not doing it live. So.
Yeah, seemed very Nintendo Direct-y.
Speaking of Nintendo Direct, I was just gonna have us talk about our expectations and hopes for the 3 big players at E3. And this year, Nintendo is opting not to have any kind of major press conference, and instead they're just gonna have a Nintendo Direct. Which I assume is pre-recorded, and they'll play it on Tuesday morning. And
yeah, I'm fine with the decision.
I'm really not, and I think it's a huge missed opportunity to not go up on stage. But well, why don't you go ahead and say why you think it's okay, and I'll come back.
Well, what I don't think is okay is I think, like marketing wise, it's a bad idea. Because they really need to get out what the Wii U actually is. But personally, as like a fan, and I'm not the main target here, I guess, for a big presser, but for me, every year, the press conferences that aren't like a focus on like a system reveal or anything, a lot of times are just like a big waste of time, and then like they show a little bit of the games and the main meat of it you get from other sources on the show floor and stuff. What I do like is these Nintendo Directs, which they've been doing for a while now, they work really well, I think. And I really do like their idea to have like demos for all the games they're going to be showing around at Best Buys around the United States and stuff like that. I think that's a good idea.
Well,
but
just to stop you there, the idea to have demos at Best Buy is annoying to me because it seems like an easy way to grab a partnership with Best Buy when every Nintendo console currently on the market has the ability to download demos from the internet and have people play them at their house.
I guess you're right about that, yeah.
I think that would be the smart thing to do. Put all your E3 demos and let everyone play them at, in their own family room or living room, whatever.
That'd probably be a lot smarter, yeah.
But, yeah.
But I guess I don't mind the idea of, like, at least it's something. Like, you don't have to be at E3 on the show floor to try something out. But I guess them not having a press conference really is not good, like, as a large-scale thing. Because no one knows what the hell a Wii U is, and this would be their chance to get it out, I guess.
Yeah, like, this has been a really shitty year for the Wii U in terms of sales, and, one of the main problems for them is that people don't know what it is, and there's no software out for it, and so I was looking towards E3 as this opportunity to, for Nintendo to get up on stage and say, yeah, we've had a tough year, and there's not been many games for the Wii U, and we messed up, but, here they are. Here's what we've got coming, and, get excited. And for all you people who don't know, this is the Wii U.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, they're not going up on stage at all. It's not even a show of confidence. It's like showing that you don't have enough to show. So, to me, it gives the message that we're not any closer to solving the problems that the Wii U is suffering from.
Yeah.
Like, they need to show a lot of software for the Wii U because it has none. And you can go up on stage and give demos of all this stuff, but I feel like the decision not to is kind of reflecting maybe there isn't enough to show, or
yeah, that too.
So
do you think they're going to focus on the Wii U and neglect the 3DS, or they're going to do 50-50, the other way around?
I think that the primary focus at E3 will be on the Wii U because the 3DS has a well-documented kick-ass year ahead of it, and I think most people know what to look forward to already with that from previous Nintendo Directs. And there's no big problem with sales in the 3DS at all. So I think the main focus should be the Wii U. I don't know what they'll actually do or whatever, but they should show the software for the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything from Nintendo that you want to see at E3 that you're excited for, or that you hope that they reveal?
Well, I guess, like everyone else, I'm excited for the new Smash Brothers.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's confirmed at this point that they'll be showing it. So.
Yeah. Now, do you think, because they'll have to show some characters with it, do you think they're going to just show a small collection of, like, the well-known ones, or you think they're going to show off, like, who's new here?
The reveal trailer for Brawl had, like, 4 or 5 new characters in it, I think. And it sounds like they're just doing a trailer in that vein this year. So I'm sure they'll show at least a couple of new guys and give people something to get excited about.
Here's my predictions. Chrom, Lucina, and Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia.
That's interesting.
I think.
Do you think Chrom would like replace Ike?
I don't know.
Because they're very similar.
Yeah, I feel like they have to keep Marth in.
Well, here's what I was suggesting, and I don't think they'll do this, but I think this would be cool. If they just created Lucina as Marth and named her Marth, and gave her mask, and then she has Marth's moveset and takes Marth's place.
Huh.
I don't think they'll do it.
No. And I don't think she can replace Marth either.
Because she goes by the name Marth in the game for a while. And I think she's a much more interesting character, and a much more likable character than Marth himself, so I would kind of like it if they went with her. But I don't think they'll end up doing that.
If anything, I'd see them putting, like, a bunch of them in, but I feel like there's no way they're not going to put an Awakening character in that game.
No, I think they definitely will. And that would be the smart thing to do. In terms of other stuff from Nintendo, all I can think of right now that I'm like super excited for is to see some Pikmin 3.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm interested to see some more Wonderful 101 stuff because that game has only been shown like in kind of small pieces.
I played that last year.
Oh yeah, what can I give your impressions?
It was it was about a 20-minute demo, and out of all the games I demoed last year at New York Comic Con, it was the most fun I had with anything.
Can you describe to me like how it works, or just in general how you control it? Because I really just don't know.
You have the gamepad, and you control your group of people with. I'm blanking here, but I know you form different shapes with your group of people, like with different. You can form a gun, a sword, and like something else. And I'm forgetting if you use. I think you use motion to change, or I could be totally wrong here. You could maybe use like directional or something.
I think that I saw people drawing on the screen like shapes.
That's what it was. It was drawing. And there's also parts of the game where one part of the demo you went inside a building, and on the TV screen you just saw the outside of the building, and on the screen on your controller you saw what was inside.
Oh, that's cool.
That was kind of interesting. And yeah, it was like the combat was switching between drawing the different shapes and collecting more people around you. And in the demo, you fought like two like mini bosses, and then there was this giant battle against this boss, and you had to use like all your different powers to navigate like from its arm to its other arm, then up to its head. And there was one section where you formed like a glider and flew around and stuff. It was really interesting, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like to hear stuff like they're using the perspective of the building changes between screens and stuff. Because I think the way to sell the Wii U is to have awesome games that really use the screen for something other than like a lame mini map or something like that.
Yeah.
I think the reason third parties have done so poorly on the Wii U is because that's all they were willing to do. Just port over old games and throw in a mini map, and then they put it out and wonder why people don't buy it. But
yeah, it seems like first party stuff is like they're used to the hardware, they know what to do. It's really a shame because you could do some interesting stuff with that gamepad.
Yeah, Nintendo always seems on point with the Wii U games they put out, but unfortunately, they can't seem to support it by themselves. And third parties are really leaving in the dust after a pretty unsuccessful launch. So
yeah,
I'd like to see some new third party games too at E3. I guess I don't really know. Well, hopefully the games that they start revealing for PS4 and Xbox One will be multi-platform for Wii U as well.
You think so?
That's my hope, but it seems like a lot of people are developing for the two new ones and just leaving Wii U out. So.
Yeah. Also, I think when Xbox One announced that they would have like a ton of new games to show and new IPs, what I think is a majority of those new IPs and a lot of those exclusives, I think, are going to be Kinect games.
Yeah, we already know that two of them are. One is the new Harmonix game, which is like Disney Fantasia or something.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what it is. The trailer is like live action people dancing to Bruno Mars.
Fantastic.
So I guess I don't really care about that. The other one is that Kinect game they revealed a couple E3s ago, I think, which was a Crytek game called Rise with a Y, which is like Roman fighting or something.
Yeah.
But that's a Kinect game too. So that's two of them.
I think more will follow.
I would hope not, but I think if they showed a lot of Kinect games at E3, people would be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
In terms of Sony, I think like I said, it's their E3 to win.
I'm looking for a Vita price drop.
Yeah, well, that would be good. I hope they show some new IP, just because a lot of what they had running, like the Uncharted's and the Infamous that they've shown and stuff like that, isn't so interesting to me. I really want to see like what the PS4 is bringing that the PS3 doesn't have, because the initial show, the initial reveal a couple months ago, didn't really give me that idea so much.
Project Diva is coming to PS3 in the United States.
Well, yeah, that's what PS3 has. The PS4 doesn't, so PS4 step it up. I also want to see a ton of Vita games, because I think the Vita is in the same rut as the Wii U in terms of lack of software.
Yeah.
So they should start bringing over like all these Japanese games that aren't coming over, and they should show some bombshells for the Vita. I think it's an easy battle to win for them if they give the Vita its own identity and give it a strong library. I think people, because it's a cool device, I think people will be willing to jump over and buy it. And a price cut too.
Do you think do you think that they'll deliver on that?
I've heard rumors that it's going to be a good show for the Vita, but that's pretty vague. I don't know if they'll like save the Vita completely and bring it back from the depths, but I think that they'll do at least something to help it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And for Microsoft, I don't know, maybe. I guess they have to show some pretty awesome exclusives.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said this last week, nothing they show will convince me to buy a new Xbox. Period.
I've actually heard rumors that Mirror's Edge 2, which has been leaked a couple times on a couple different sites as something that exists now, will be Xbox exclusive.
Well, that's terrible.
That would make me a little sad, because I definitely love Mirror's Edge 1, and I'd like it for the sequel, which I've been pulling for years now. But that, I don't know if that would be something that excites a lot of people, because the first game wasn't even that popular. But that's a possibility. So yeah, I think that covers it for E3. I'm looking forward to it, for better or worse. I think it'll be a good show, and I'm looking forward to seeing Sony and Microsoft put up their best and duke it out. Hopefully Nintendo can put out something
grudge
good.
match.
So I guess we can just turn this over to anime discussion. And this week, or was it last week? I'm not sure, but we had the opportunity to watch Makoto Shinkai's new short film, The Garden of Words. So what were your thoughts?
I loved it. In short, I'm a big Makoto Shinkai fan. Big Makoto Shinkai fan.
Yeah, me too.
It was a lot like his older movies, like a love story, and I thought the backgrounds, like usual, were like fantastic. And I also think this is his best looking movie, but it was real minimalistic. I think I felt it was the right length, and I really enjoyed the story, and the ending was pretty optimistic, unlike some of his other movies. But I like the two main characters. Anything to do with the rain in the movie looked really, really well done, and there was a lot of scenes that like stuck out to me that looked absolutely fantastic, like dust particles being animated, and like from like sunlight coming from a window to someone writing on a blackboard, and you could see all like the chalk dust falling. I blown away by it. And I wasn't ready to watch it because I thought I'd still have to wait like about a year for it, so I was really happy about that.
Yeah, I was happy to have the opportunity to see it so soon. I'm also a pretty huge Makoto Shinkai fan. I think my favorite film by him is 5 centimeters per second. And this
I'd still say that's my favorite.
This is much closer to that than anything else he's made, I think. But I was thinking while I was watching Garden of Words that it's like the perfect follow-up to his previous film, Children Who Chase Lost Voices from Below. And I love them both. I think Children Who Chase Lost Voices was like this huge epic fantasy land adventure with like these sweeping horizons and all this like landscape, and it was a really beautiful film in its own way. And this follow-up film is more about like focusing in on the smaller things.
Yeah.
Like, things that you think are mundane but look beautiful when you really take a second look at them, like a park bench in the rain or something like that.
Yeah, the scope was definitely a lot smaller. Like in the previous movie, it's huge open landscapes, like giant areas, and then this movie, pretty much more than half of it takes place in one park.
Yeah, and I think that they in both cases they really knocked it out of the park with what they were going for, and just the park as a setting and story of the two main characters meeting up there every time it rained was really romantic and cool to watch. I love the voice acting too.
Yeah, that was really well done.
What's her name? Hanazawa, I think, played the main girl, and I always love her when she's in anything. So it was good. It was good to hear her.
Kana Hanazawa.
Kana Hanazawa, not Anna. Okay, but
yeah, she did really well.
I think I agree that the length was good. I always feel bad criticizing something for being too short because it just means that I wanted to see more of it.
Yeah.
I think is more of a compliment. I think that applied here. When it ended, I was like, oh, I want to see where this goes. But it ended at the right place, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So as a short film, it's definitely really good. I don't think it surpasses 5 centimeters per second, but it's definitely in the same league and an excellent film.
Yeah, I watched 5 centimeters about three or so years ago, and I got to view his Children Who Chase Lost Voices after I met him, and he introduced the movie, and I feel like I go into one of his movies and I expect it like not to be anywhere near as good as 5 centimeters, and then I watch it, and I sit there for a second and I think, wow, that's like just about as good. Like it's real consistent, and I especially wasn't ready for this one. Like I was kind of taken away that like after watching it, like wow, I really like that.
Yeah, I guess I was going in thinking like, this movie's definitely gonna look good, but will the story hold up, or will the writing be as good as the previous films? And in every case, it just always is. Like they really can do no wrong. What's the name of the studio?
Comic Wave?
Yeah, I think so. But
Sentai Filmworks, maybe?
No, that's a localization.
They localize it.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever he's working on next, because at this point, I guess there's nothing to expect from it other than that it'll also be excellent.
Yeah, they just need to give him more money.
Well, it's funny because, even with like a low budget, like I think 5 centimeters per second had a budget like in the tens of thousands, and it's like one of the most beautiful looking animated films I've ever seen. Whereas like multi-million budget films don't even impress me as much.
I feel like this guy deserves it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I will buy the Blu-ray, and I'll have to meet him again so he could sign that for me too.
Yeah, hopefully we can work that out so I can get a signature too.
I don't know. Me and him were tight. We're good buddies.
You can introduce me.
I guess I could.
I guess we were just gonna. Last week we kind of went over our general feelings on the shows we're watching this season. I guess we can quickly just go over the episodes that came out this weekend, our thoughts on where the story's going.
Sounds good.
This will definitely be spoiler territory, so if you haven't watched your new episodes this week, just put this on pause.
Also, if you're not keeping up with the current anime season, what the hell are you doing?
I think it's a pretty good season. Like, if there's a season to keep up with, this is one of the better ones.
So, what you need to do, you need to go to Anime Take. You need to go, I don't know, find like 10 or so shows that look good, download all of them up to episode 9 or 10 we're at now. Get caught up, then you can come here, and we can discuss. So, pause this, go do that, come back, hit play.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's me, your host, HunterJawa, and I'm joined as always by my good friend, VanillaFish.
AKA Spring Season 2013.
So first of all, this week we can talk about Attack on Titan. I thought last week was a really great episode. And it was the one where we finally see the end of the soldiers' ordeal trying to get out of the city, and we finally see Mikasa meet up with Eren again, and it's a great reunion. This week I was a little more mixed on. I think it had really great moments, but you can kind of see the limitations in the budget and the problems with directing coming through. And
yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like the first batch of episodes, it was going by really quick, which kind of bugged me a little bit, but it was progressing at like a really good pace. And I don't know, with this last one, I feel like we just hit like a huge roadblock, and something that in another episode would have taken 5 minutes, like tops maybe, was this entire episode. Granted, it was real like pivotal, but it was kind of jarring.
Yeah, and one thing I liked about the show, with all the previous episodes was that, or in general, what I like about a show is when it's episodic and there's a continuing story that you want to see, and there can even be cliffhangers that keep you waiting or whatever. But every episode tells like its own story that has a beginning and an end. And I feel like this episode didn't tell a complete story. It was really just like a lot of introduction for one reveal.
Yeah.
I liked seeing, from Aaron's perspective, what happened when he became a Titan, and it was a pretty cool moment when he like shot his arm out of the mouth of the Titan who had eaten him and busted out. But I felt like they also kind of wasted a lot of time showing the recon troops just fighting and not really doing anything relevant to the plot. And then we kind of sat in the same spot until Aaron finally had like a flashback and triggered his power again.
Yeah, and it was a lot of flash up to the people at the cannon, flash up to the other main characters who are just standing on a wall, flash to the group of people who were like about to kill them. There's a lot of that, and it just kept going back to and back and back to that. So that bugged me a little bit.
That said, I'm kind of interested to see where it goes from here because
yeah, definitely.
I didn't, I guess, I expected Aaron to just fold back into the military somehow, like maybe keep it a secret or maybe they decided to weaponize it or something like that. But it seems like he's completely rogue at this point. So I'm interested to see if him and his friends really do just break off and do their own thing. I'm also pretty curious what's in the basement.
I think it's his dad's porn stash.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. That'll motivate him to defeat all the Titans.
Hey, I guess. I think that's just the most logical.
He was keeping it a secret from his wife, even. So.
Yeah, well, she can't find out about that. She'll make him throw it out.
Yeah, that would be a tragedy. Do they even have magazines? I don't think so.
They got a printing press. It's whatever. All right, so it's not porn.
Hopefully it's not just more of the formula that he gave Aaron. I'd really like to not see everyone just juice himself up with it.
Yeah, that would stink. But I also, this could be true, could be not, but I heard from some manga fags that...
Well, don't spoil, like, stuff that hasn't been shown on the anime.
I'm not spoiling anything at all, but I heard, I could be wrong here, but as far as the new, like, the latest release in the manga, they haven't even got to the basement yet.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong, but I think that's what I heard.
That's interesting. I guess
they don't even know it's in the basement.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty major thing. That makes me want to know what it is even more, I guess.
Yeah. So no one knows what's in the basement.
Shit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that and seeing what direction it goes. Also came out this week. I don't even know what to call it. I think it's in English, Gargantia on the Virtuous Planet.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Susei no Gargantia. This week was a major like plot dump type thing, and we saw our main character discover what the true origin of the aliens he's fighting are, which was kind of weird, but it makes it more interesting, I guess.
Yeah, it was the butcher doing what he does.
Yeah, suffering engaged. It wasn't what you thought it was, and you're actually a bad person. That happens in all shows. I thought the first half of the episode was like, I feel like the purpose of the entire episode was just to show that revelation. So there's kind of
the first like 15 minutes of him literally slaughtering whale squids, and then the revelation.
It was well animated, the first part of him fighting the whale squids, but I felt like it went on for too long. Like, there was a point where I was like, okay, I get it. Like, he's pretty good at fighting. He's going to kill these things. When is he going to find the interesting thing in his face?
Maybe it was to really hammer home the fact that he was, like, slaughtering his own kind.
That's true, because when he does find out the truth, he's kind of
fucked up.
Yeah, and you know why, because you've seen him just kill like 1 billion of these things. But yeah, I think that I suspected all along that his ideas about the Hideos were false, and that the reason that they were fighting them was just to progress society using war as a catalyst. But it was definitely interesting to see how the war began, and also that the Hideos aren't as innocent as the people on Gargantia made them out to be, but they're not the villains either. They're just another player.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'm not really sure if I have anything else to say, but there's a big revelation, and I think there's like 3 more episodes, so...
Yeah, definitely very interesting. And the scream at the end, very Shinji Ikari-esque.
Yeah. I'm not really sure, like, where it would go in terms of ending. Like, now we know a lot of stuff, but, like, what's left, I guess.
What can he do, yeah.
I feel like I thought all along, because it's a Pocahontas-type story, that eventually his buddies from the military would show up and pick him up and fuck things up. But I'm not so sure about that now.
Maybe he's just gonna, like, give it up and just gonna chill.
Yeah, but there's like 2 more beach episodes to end it off.
Also, what if he wants to, settle down, but Chamber doesn't?
Yeah, more so than before, I feel like Chamber is kind of shaping up to be more of a villain than a friend this week. And I was especially confused at the end when Chamber like grabs the last Hideos in the base, and after he's watched the video, Ledo's like, don't kill it, but he does anyway. But I didn't realize that Chamber could like control the suit himself and fight by himself. It makes me like wonder what the point of having a pilot is, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not really it feels like that's kind of like a logical oversight just so they could have that moment. I don't know. Like, Chamber's a computer program, like, if he's just obeying Leto's commands, then we told him to stop, he should have just stopped.
Maybe it's something along the lines of, like, if it's anything relating to the destruction of our, like, biggest enemy, it like, usurps any command, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I guess. Any other thoughts on that, or?
It's still good show.
Yeah.
Ready for next week?
I'm not even really sure what to talk about with this, because I haven't really liked the last couple episodes, but, we also watched, The Devil is a Part-Timer this week.
Yeah, hey. More of the same.
I feel like the structure of the story of the show is faulty.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna fit any meaningful story in these, like, 13 or so episodes.
Like, all the build-up and excitement is in the first 6 episodes.
Yeah,
and after that,
now they've just been chilling.
Now they've been showing what you would expect, like, episode 2 to be. But
yeah.
we're at, like, 10, and it's almost over. Like, I don't really get it. What I thought was, like, stood out to me was that this week is the first week we actually, like, saw in depth, him being a part-timer and working at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, it took them all the way until now, like, through an entire story arc to actually, like, go into detail with that premise of the show. And that we're just kind of hanging out with that now, and he's trying to be a better manager or whatever.
Maybe they're really banking on a second season, but I don't know what they're gonna do with, like, three more episodes.
I feel like the ending of this is literally just gonna be like, he's actually a nice guy now, let's hang out and have a good time.
Hey,
like, I feel like the
I'm all
story,
for that.
I feel like the story continuity of this is, in terms of important things happening, completely over. Well, there was one, they kind of introduced a new villain, a potential new villain this week, but there's not much time to explore who that is, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that'll be the conclusion.
But, yeah. But to be fair, it's still consistently pretty funny, and the comedy's on point.
Demon Souls reference?
Yeah, there was a good Demon Souls reference. I like that the PlayStation's called the Pasta. There's some pretty top tier fake names for things in this.
What I don't like is how, due to being sick, Mao's roommate is out of the picture for most of it. Because I think he's the best character.
It's been like since episode 6, he's kind of not done anything, right? Besides like going to scout one time.
Yeah.
I feel like, here's another thing I thought about the show. I feel like it's the type of story where the author introduced a side character, after coming up with the premise, and then fell in love with that character so much they kind of wished it was the main character. With Emmy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the show introduces, Mao and his friend, whose name I forget, as your main cast, and then all the focus, like, directly turns over to Emmy as soon as she's introduced, and she's kind of been the center point of the show ever since.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see more of the actual main characters. I think that's another issue as well. Because it seems like there's nothing for Ashia to do, and he kind of sits around because he's not involved with anything.
He's also not in good shape.
No.
I think he's dying.
Well, maybe he does die. That'd be pretty dramatic.
Yeah. So, what else? What else have we been watching?
Been watching Red Data Girl, which hasn't been letting me down yet so far, I guess. I'm also not really sure where they're going to go in terms of ending with it, but I think it can be good.
In the 2 or 3 episodes they have left?
Yeah, I think there's 2. But like I said, I think I said this when we were talking about it last time. I don't think it's going to be a big battle type ending. I think it's going to be like the main character, the main girl whose name I totally forget. Izumiko?
I don't. Yeah, that sounds right.
Well, just to pretend, last week they revealed that the Himigami, which has been possessing her on and off, and is kind of like the main issue with her, is not a god, but actually like a human who can travel through time. And my theory is that it's actually the main character possessing herself in the future, if that makes any sense.
Hey, I could see that.
Because it seems like there's this tone of, this is the last chance, and we're coming to the end, and there's not going to be another opportunity to save the world. And, the Himigami says that, like, the reason she travels through time is because she has this power that she can't control, and because of it, she ends up wiping out humanity in her timeline. And she wants to, find somebody who will understand her reasons for doing so and convince her not to do it. So, I feel like the main character is going to have to be a part of that conflict somehow. And that's sort of how it'll end.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not like a super deep plot or anything, but I've definitely liked it. I like all the characters. Festival has been pretty fun. It's pretty dorky to have a festival themed after, like, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms or whatever, but yeah, pretty cool so far.
Yeah.
That should probably cover it in terms of stuff this week, right?
Yeah. Well, I also did watch two other things from Studio Trigger, made up of the guys who did Gurren Lagann, Panty and Stocking, those Gynax gurus. I watched Little Witch Academia and Inferno Cop, and I thought both were pretty good.
Little Witch Academia is like a sort of Harry Potter type thing.
Yeah, it's a I want to say 20 or 25 minute long movie. It's got a lot of charm. The characters are like, they really like give each character their like own personality in the short amount of time they have. But they're at a witch school. A lot of Harry Potter draws there, but it looked really nice, and it was charming. And for a 25-minute movie, I really liked it. I'd like to see more of it.
Now, about Inferno Cop, I've heard some pretty divergent opinions, I guess.
Inferno Cop is a 13-episode series.
Oh, it's 13 episodes?
13 episodes.
Jeez. Wait, is it over yet, or?
Yes, it's over.
Okay.
And each episode is about 2 minutes long, and it's not animated. It's a bunch of pretty well drawn still images, and they like bob up and down and talk to each other. And I haven't laughed at anything, like not just anime or anything that funny in like a long time. Like,
so I've heard that it's like super shitty, but maybe on purpose.
Yeah.
Is the humor mostly out of that, or is there like pretty good writing too, or what's going on?
Some of the writing is like, a lot of the humor is like really fucking stupid, but like it knows what it is, and like what they do with like the characters, and it's funny. And what it was is, it was the first thing Trigger did to get like in the groove of like the production process. And what came out was like really funny. Like, he shows up the first episode and just shoots a gang and they explode. Then the next episode he turns into a car. And the next episode is completely different from like the dark, gritty action cop drama, and it's just a race. And then it all ends with the third impact.
It sounds kind of similar to Penny and Stocking to me.
Yeah, kind of like
super
that.
dumb, lowbrow humor, but like really fun and
Yeah,
clever too.
it was definitely like that, and like I loved it. Granted, I watched it 3 a.m.
Everything's funnier.
Yeah, but I thought it was like hilarious. Like, definitely watch it. It only take you like an hour to finish.
All right, I'll go check that out sometime. Any other anime stuff, or?
I think that might be it.
Okay, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. E3 is early next week, so there's gonna be a whole lot of news and hopefully some new stuff coming out. So I think next week we'll just go right in and talk about it, and we'll see if we have any time for other stuff. But I think it'll be a mostly game-centric discussion. So
E3 Super Show next week.
E3, climb aboard the E3 hype train now. We'll see you at the station.
All aboard.
This is your host, HunterJawa, signing off.
And VanillaFish, aka the conductor. See you next week.
Bye.